Oh, hey. It's Sunday, and usually I would be reading or writing or, preparing for Monday or hanging out with friends. But it's the Sunday before NAFSA. So instead, I'm going to a ball game, because that's a thing that people do, with the entire Go Abroad team. And that should be fun. And I'm wearing a hat. It's a little bit of a nerdy hat, but you gotta wear a hat to go to a sports game. I think that's how it works. So that you're protected from the sun, so you can watch them score goal unit baskets. I think that's how it works. I'm not too clear on sports, but I'm pretty sure that's what goes on. Today should be fun. It's also beautiful. Like, gorgeous out. Look at these clouds. Traffic. Lovely, isn't it? So many cars and people driving. What a time. Ooh, there's Denver. That's nice looking. Good job, Denver. You look like a real big city. Cars and traffic.
Hazard reported ahead.
There's going to be a lot of this week, so get used to it. Driving up to Denver every day for the next 6 days. Should be fun. Honestly, I am super excited to get to spend a week in downtown Denver. It's beautiful. So, this was fun. And it hasn't started raining yet, surprisingly. But yeah, it was my first, big baseball game. I've never really been to one. I'm a real American, I promise. And I got to go with this huge group of people from Go Abroad. It was a good time. However, I had some thoughts during this little outing, the beginning of NAFSA week, and I want to share them with you, but probably not where I could run into someone from NAFSA. So 1 second. In the meantime, check out this skyline. Why don't I hang out in Denver more often? You see this ramp? It goes all the way down. It just goes back and forth. All the way down. It makes me wish that I had my Heelys. Yo. So I'm back in the car. I gotta pull out of the parking garage and what have you. But then we're gonna have a little talk. Okay? Alrighty. I'm driving. I got my hat on silly. And today was a great, fantastic day. I got to go to the Go Abroad reception, and you saw that. It was at the game, and it was fun. And my friends from last year are all rolling into Denver, and I'm gonna get to see them at NAFSA, and it's great. This is the fun part about being in field for multiple years, is that you make friends and you get to see them at annual events like this, and at regional events, and at other events, everywhere, all the time, friends. So that's cool. But also, and furthermore, there's this so this happens in Colorado Springs too. There's this small fields sort of competitiveness that's really silly and childish, and not in a good way, that happens when there are a bunch of small competing players who are competing the same way for a small pie. Instead of focusing on making the pie bigger, they focus on outdoing each other, doing the same things. So great example of this from a personal perspective is I have this plan to make a Snapchat account that features a new study abroad destination every day. And that's a great idea, but I know that if I tell anyone at NAFSA, they're going to steal it and do that. And that would keep me usually from telling anyone at NAFSA, but to be frank with you, I would love to watch that Snapchat account. I want as many versions of it as possible to exist in the world, so I am going to tell people at NAFSA about it, and I don't care if they make their own version of it. It's great. However, that attitude that I had, that natural visceral reaction to wanting to tell people my plans, is what makes industries stupid, right? So for a long time, hard drive companies and like HP and GE and like still to this day, they can't like have meetings with each other. They can't have like networking events or educational, because intellectual property and copyright infringement issues are so huge that they just can't overlap intellectual circles, because they risk infringing on each other's intellectual property and then having a lawsuit result from that instead of just business as usual. So with small fields and less technical fields where there aren't patents, this is really just like, it's childish, it's play. Like, there's no reason to do it, because like if someone steals your idea, that means it was a good idea and that it works, and everyone should be doing it anyway. There's no room for like, this is my thing, like only I can do this, I gotta beat you to market with that. Like, it's such a silly, it's silly to compete. Like, it works. Like, if you steal someone else's model and you do it better than them, it works. Like, that's very like fundamental, like MBA, like I read The Art of War by Sun Tzu, like stuff. Like, you take someone else's idea, you do it better, you beat them to market. Great. Okay, cool, that's wonderful. However, if you're working in a field that's already like at capacity and there's no room to expand the market, that makes sense. If you're working like in study abroad, say, as an example, where 200,000 students out of 16 million every year study abroad, who the hell are you trying to compete with each other? It's ridiculous. So seeing these little companies have pissing fights with each other really just is confusing to me as someone who's young and trying to start a business. You'd think people would want to collaborate to make their entire field bigger, because if you did that, everyone would make a shit ton more money, like orders of magnitude more money, instead of like trying to outcompete each other and make 1 or 2 times as much money as each other. Like, it's ridiculous. So that is just a little bit of bitterness going into this event that I notice, like, just all the time everywhere. Like, people are paranoid, they feel like they're competing, like, it's a silly thing, and the field should not be like that. But Colorado Springs is like that too, so it's not just like this field that has that problem. It's any small community that like has its own politics, tends to do this before they get their shit together, hopefully, even when that happens, and decide to work together. So I would very much like to see Colorado Springs begin to work together as a cohesive unit, and there are signs of that happening, which is great. And I would also like to see international education and meaningful travel work together, but I don't know enough about it to see whether or not there are signs of that happening. I'm still just learning the politics and like just getting familiar with what players are doing what and who's making what happen. And also universities are involved, which extraordinarily complicates the problem. So anyway, that's my rant about it. I know none of that's relevant for you, but it's relevant for me. So those are my thoughts. Thanks for listening. And thanks for watching this little, video about me driving to Denver and back. Stay tuned this week for lots more videos of me driving to Denver and back. Look at this view. Like, why would you not want to do this every day of the week? I talked to someone recently who commutes to Boulder from Colorado Springs every day, and like initially that sounded kind of terrifying, but now that I'm doing it, it's actually really, really cool and beautiful. And I mean, look at this train and these cars. Like, this is actually kind of like, it's meditative, it's relaxing. I don't know if those are words, but you get the idea. Anyway, thanks for listening, thanks for watching. I think you're great. Make sure to click like and subscribe and go watch other videos, or don't if you don't want to. That's my spiel. Okay, bye.